Crafty is a global platform. We cover 5 different countries, and one of the benefits of doing that is you get to see trends that are happening across the globe. And I think that, I don't know, maybe as a kid, I used to think about Coca-Cola and McDonald's being these global brands that are in all these other countries, but was not really thinking about other brands coming into America. But now what we're seeing is there is a real globalization of the food and beverage ecosystem, where a lot of the products that we carry today are products and brands from other countries that have become incredibly popular in the US. I think about the Meiji like cat cookies, and they're delicious. Another example is Taki. Taki is an amazing Mexican snack that I love, and it's fun, it's exciting, and it's delicious, and it's become really popular as well.
There is a big love for ITO teas in the Bay Area. Almost all of my clients have at least one flavor. In the Bay Area, there's a pretty large Asian community, so those are, requested and they are loved amongst all people. But like, I feel that there's so many great snacks for us to kind of like venture into.
When you walk into a trade show, maybe not the exact first booth, but one of the first entry booths tends to be that international section. Yeah, definitely you've seen a lot of those Southeast Asian or East Asian flavors that have a stronger presence. Also, there's some more influence with some, I'd say, like Western European flavors. One of our account managers has made the effort to say like, hey, they're starting to source more snacks from Italy and Spain and France. And it's almost like, how we have those stroopwafel type snacks. They're like, oh, we'll get you the real stroopwafel from a producer in Europe and try to bring it over. So I've noticed they're trying to do a lot more of those things.
I mean, I'm from South Africa, so maybe it's not that global for me to like this since I really like it. But yeah, biltong has become really popular in the US. You can get it in a lot of places. There's a lot of good brands. Biltong's like a fun, in my mind, fun version of jerky. It's easier to eat. It doesn't have the sugar that a lot of jerky brands have, and I really enjoy it. It's nostalgic for me almost, but it's fun to be able to get that sort of snack here.
A lot of our clients are incorporating more worldly flavors into their offering. So the key about the mix. Like, are you able to digitally view your product selection in your platform? If you're working with Crafty, you can, and think about where is this brand from, so you can feature certain products like Ito and for some of your tea selection, and that can be right next to Honest Tea or Pure Leaf or something that's different, because it is a much more holistic program when you can think geographically as well.
And I think with workplace snacking, there's an opportunity to try different things that you might not want to take a risk on at the grocery store or at a Costco, where it's your own money and you don't know if you're going to like it, so you don't necessarily want to buy it or buy a lot of it. But when you're at work and when you have a company like Crafty who's managing your pantry, we're bringing in lots of new things. You can trial all of these new flavors with no risk. Don't like it, no problem, put it back, but maybe you will like it, and then you can go buy it at your local grocery store or pick up more of it for your Crafty pantry.
Yeah, the office is like the only environment where the consumer essentially consumes for free. And so there's a big willingness to try absolutely anything. And we see that in the office here. People saying, well, I don't normally try protein bars because I normally think they're gross, but let me try this new one that came in. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Like, and the next thing they're eating it. Whereas at the grocery store, they're not going to buy a whole box of protein bars if they know they most likely don't like it.
Yeah.
There's so many great snacks that are out there, but the question is, can we actually get it into our warehouse and then to our client sites consistently, so that way they can keep enjoying it? So I think usually companies that are able to nail down the distribution and get it in an accessible way is usually the first ways it becomes approachable, and the right pack size too, because you can see a lot of those big, like 6 to 12 inch type bags that are meant for like family snacking or like the things you'd find at like an airport store, versus if you're able to get the really small individual single serves, that makes it a lot easier for people to get a hold of that.
Amidst the globalization of food and beverage products and brands and the intermixing, we do have these different trends that we see sort of like year over year, different phases. There was a period of time a couple of years ago where we were making dried fruit out of everything. we're doing dried apples, dried coconut, dried mango. We've seen that kind of dissipate, and turns out we're just kind of landing on dried mango because that one's the best. Then we also saw a trend of all these different milks were kind of still living in that moment, right? It was almond milk and soy milk and pistachio milk and cashew milk, and we get a little crazy, and then we probably just kind of narrowed down to the ones that people like the most. We've also seen a lot of like different waters. Like we have coconut water and cactus water and all these different waters. So that trend's happening as well. And then the other one we're seeing is just taking a lot of natural foods and converting them into snacks through either like drying them or, puffing them, or there's all these different techniques that exist, but a lot of like mushroom snacks and other sort of whole food oriented snacks. And across all of this, we're just seeing a lot of like mixing of flavors, whereas a product used to be like, that's a really good spicy product and that's a really good sweet product. Now we're seeing products that are mixing a lot of flavors, and we're getting things like spicy products that are becoming exciting and popular amongst our consumers.
My instinct is that it comes just from like our food culture, right? Like we're all cooking food from different places now. We're all incorporating different flavors into our like home cooking, if you like cooking at home. Restaurants, we have access to so many restaurants of different cultures, and like each year I feel like a different culture of food is becoming popular, and there's restaurants opening that kind of mirror that. And so it makes sense that when you come looking for your snacks, you're now open to all these different flavors where you wouldn't have maybe been interested or excited about that before.
Just something new and different to talk about and discuss and to form a connection. Maybe Craig mentioned biltong. I've been to South Africa and ate biltong in South Africa, so we have a conversation about it and whether he thinks as an expert in biltong that this new, American-made Brooklyn biltong stands up to the authentic version. So it just creates that connection and conversation piece.
So for Diwali, I asked my procurement specialist to look into sourcing some snack that could kind of highlight and celebrate the Diwali celebration, and he found these really great little snack pops called Ashwa Pops. They were kind of like a fried chickpea, and they tossed it in like a turmeric garlic, and then there was like a chili lime one. But it was like a traditional snack that they have in India, but they've made it into like kind of, more American with like flavors and like, the individual bag packaging. And so we brought that on to one of my clients and they loved it. So, I think exploring into other cultures and other different kind of snacks that are, not something typical you would find here in America is kind of like a new market that we could really tap into. And I think there's a lot of great stuff out there that people will love and eat up.